Well, first off, I wanted to... Okay. All right, here we go. Well, first off, I want to offer up a big congratulations. Bogdan and Krista, I'm so happy for you both that you've found each other and that you've built such a loving and strong relationship. It's been really inspiring to see how you both have grown together. I'm happy to say that I'm not only Bogdan's sister, but I'm also his friend. For a lot of reasons, he's one of the people I cherish most in this world. And I'm really happy to have him as my brother. So as a sibling, Bogdan is always very kind and helpful. I'm happy to know that he will always show up for me, even if it takes a few reminders. He ultimately always does come through. And I know that that's just how he is as a person, and I'm sure everyone here has felt something similar from him. My favorite thing, though, about Bogdan is that he's also really very funny, without even trying to be oftentimes. There was one time where I asked him if he was free for a call to catch up, and he sent me a Calendly link so that I could book a call on his calendar, which is something which he still defends as being very practical, which I suppose it was. But in general, he doesn't take things too seriously, and it makes him such a joy to be around. As for Krista, I've loved getting to know her over the years. I feel like she has been such a good influence on him and really brings out the best in him. I love how she challenges him, and she always stands firm in her ground, which I feel like is really one of the things that make them so great as a team. So I'm just so happy for you both and excited for this next step. I think so far you've already built such a beautiful life together, like so much adventure and so many friends. And I'm just excited to see what you do next. So Krista, welcome to the family legally and officially. I'm very happy to have you here. But much love to you both, and everyone please join me in a cheers. Okay.
So kind. Thank you.
Lots of
so
minutes,
kind.
I can say.
Thank you all.
Your turn.
Hold. Takes the mic.
Do you want me?
All right, folks, I'm going to start with the public service announcement on behalf of Krista. The guests are allowed to take that glass with them as a memory of the event. Please do not take any other glasses, or Krista will have my head. All right, I actually wrote that one down, and I'm going to be using that instead of YOLOing like everything else I do in life, because this one is actually important. So, good evening, everyone. First and foremost, I'm really proud and honored to stand here alongside Bogdan, alongside Krista. For those who don't know, Bogdan and I go way back to the Kharkiv Physics and Mathematics Lyceum, which wasn't exactly middle school or high school. It's more like a STEM boot camp with assigned seating. We weren't in the same class. I'm 3 years older, but we did cross paths a lot in various tournaments, Olympiads, and whatnot. I wouldn't exactly call us friends back then. I think tolerated each other is probably the most precise term. I mean, the physicists in the room will certainly appreciate that particular terminology. So years later, I landed in Chicago with more questions than I had dollars. So I did the sensible thing. I went to New York to look for answers. Bogdan was there at Penn Station with a couch, a plan, and a steady faith. He believed in me until I could believe in myself. Fast forward 10 years, the crossroads turned into a shared lane, supporting and augmenting each other's ambitions. When my son was born, he was the first person to show up at the hospital. That is the kind of friend that he is, dependable at all of one time. And then came Krista. Watching them together, you see a new kind of competition. Who can be kinder, who can listen better, who can make the other one laugh first. Different paths, one direction. They've mastered the conversions that truly matter. Miles into milestones, plans into shared dreams, and tolerating into cherishing. Bogdan, Krista, may your love be the constant in every equation. May your adventures be large in magnitude and your disagreement small in duration. And may your home be full of easy laughter and steady peace. Please raise the glass for me, for Bogdan and Krista. I love you.
Thank you.
Dear Bogdan and Krista, congratulations in wedding day. Ну, кто будет переводить? Желаю любви, счастья, взаимопонимания, терпения, потому что это очень немаловажно в жизни. Чтобы вы прожили долгую, счастливую жизнь в любви. И если вы будете друг друга понимать, уступать друг другу, то это будет залогом вашего счастья и брака. Я считаю, и еще я желаю, так нельзя, конечно, желать, очень хочется уже внуков. Хотя бы одного. Ну да, там как будет, но хотя бы одного. Переводить не надо.
And now we're going to have the bride's mama say a few words.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ireland. I am Janelle Loven, Krista's mother, and today we celebrate the marriage of Krista and Bogdan. My heart overflows with joy and love for this amazing couple. As a child, Krista was always very creative, artistic, and full of imagination. I'll never forget one day when she was about 10 years old and she decided to cheer me up. I was working in my home office, having a stressful day, and Krista said, I need to cheer Mom up to herself, and she did. So she picked some big leaves from a basswood tree in our yard. She curled some paper into a tube, and she taped the tube of paper to her nose. She put the big leaves over her ears like elephant ears. And she came crawling into my office on her hands and knees, and she said, "Look, Mom, I'm an elephant." She even made an elephant noise. I turned from my computer, looked at her, and I burst out laughing. She was so funny and so adorable. Even at 10 years old, Krista had a great sense of humor and the gift of bringing joy to others. And she still has that today. Krista, I am so proud of you and the woman you have become. You are independent, compassionate, fun-loving, and always thoughtful. You know what you want, and you go after it with confidence. I knew it would take a very special man to be your husband. Bogdan, welcome to our family. You are kind and intelligent, and most importantly, you make Krista very happy. It is so clear that the two of you share a very deep love. You challenge each other. You give each other laughter. You play strategy games together. And you share a passion for travel and adventure. You truly bring out the best in one another. So let us raise a glass to Krista and Bogdan. May your love grow stronger with each day, and your happiness last forever. Slancha!
Hello, everybody. My name is Rosti Vagovsky. I'm Bogdan's father. I'm standing here with joy and some trepidation because English is not my first language and I really hate public speaking. Although occasion is phenomenal here, I would like to say that I'm very glad to celebrate wedding of my son, Bogdan and Krista. It's a very joyful moment of my life. And I want to say to you, Bogdan, that nothing makes me prouder as a parent than to see a man you grow into. From the moment you agreed to join us in the United States to this day, you brought nothing but happiness to our family. Your kindness, your intelligence, your curiosity, your drive to independence, your lightheartedness never ceased to impress me. And you work hard and spend a lot of effort and discipline to make a great career in IT, and I would love to take some credit for that, but I can't. I really can't. Okay, I just steered him into the right direction, gently, and the rest was up to his intelligence and to the deeply ingrained ability to make right decisions. And I think that one of the greatest right decisions he made was when he met Krista and led her into his life. Krista is a fabulous woman, and together they are making a beautiful, fun-loving, adventurous couple who like to travel, who have a lot of friends, who've seen a lot of things around, went through good things, bad things, COVID, we all know what was happening then. And finally they moved to New York. I hoped that they would settle there. And they decided to officiate their love, and my congratulations to them. And Krista, I want to tell you that you're a fabulous woman. From the first time Bogdan introduced you to us, I secretly hoped that this day will come, and it did. And I want to officially welcome you to our family, and to say that I'm very glad to have 2 daughters now. Okay. As for some marriage advice, and I feel that I'm obliged to give one, since I'm a father and it's a wedding and that's what fathers do. I think that the greatest advice was Krista said when she was reading her vows. She said something to the extent that, Bogdan, I promise to always say I love you even if I don't like you at the moment. And this is something really very important, and it's very hard to do, and I know that from my own experience. But that's something which cements the relationship and makes marriage indestructible. An ability to always remember a person you fell in love with, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of what's happening in your life, regardless of his behavior at the moment, is something that would make you guys really inseparable, and it will let you live a long and prosperous life. They say that because of the changes in society and whatever, that institution of marriage might not be that important anymore. They try to diminish it, and I think nothing is further from reality. Life is not always rainbows and unicorns. We all know that, right? And when people take the vows and to get married, they make a conscious decision of staying with each other regardless of what's happening. And, when you ask someone to define why people marry, some say, well, because we are madly in love, or because we want to raise a family of 5 kids, or because we want to build a house together, whatever, right? Some people say that we do it because of the financial stability which it brings to our life. Some people say they cannot live without each other. It reminds me of when I just came to the United States. I tried to acquire English vocabulary in any way, shape, or form, and I was watching a bunch of TV shows. And one of them was a documentary where they were talking to people who spent 60 years or more with each other, being married. And I don't know why 60, why that magic number, but that's what it was. And I remember that was a very frail couple in their 90s. They were just sitting there holding each other's hands. And the lady who was an interviewer was asking them like a bunch of questions. And then at the end she said, okay, so to sum it all up, you can't live without each other? And they both looked at her and said, oh dear, no, we absolutely could live without each other. We just don't want to. Okay? And not wanting to live without each other is something which makes a long and happy relationship. Especially if this not wanting to live without each other is not driven by, again, thoughts about, oh, I will grow old and I will be frail and someone needs to take care of me, or because of, again, some thoughts about financial stability or stuff like that. It's because people who are happily married, they don't want to live without each other because they want to share their happiness with each other. There was a movie, Into the Wilderness, and that movie coined this phrase, happiness is nothing if you cannot share it with something, right? So I want to wish you, besides health and prosperity and having a house and kids and a dog and a cat and whatever, like everyone is wishing you, okay? I want to wish you that being over 100 years old, right, and sitting in front of the fireplace somewhere in your house, you would be able to look at your life and remember all those happy memories which you've created, okay? Being that, whatever, scuba diving, paragliding, traveling, teaching your kids how to bicycle, taking them to a Disney World. Because if you have those happy memories behind your belt, right, regardless of what life throws your way, you'll be able to soldier through and have a long, happy life, and again, be able to enjoy whatever years you have recalling the best memories which you've made for yourself. To happy memories.
Well done, great speech. I know Irish people that can't speak English that well, so now we're going to have our two maids of honor are going to say a few words.
Hi, I'm maid of honor number 2. I'm Helena, and I had the great honor of introducing Krista and Bogdan. So you can imagine how unbelievably happy and smug that I feel that 2 of my closest and dearest friends found their life partners in each other. My friendships with Krista and Bogdan could not be more different. Krista is my Midwest queen. She's been keeping me in casseroles, hot dish, I hear, spades and dancing since 2013. Beyond the extracurricular activities, though, Krista is the kind of friend that anchors you in the face of chaos. Meanwhile, Bogdan has been serving up hot takes about my career, my love life, and any bystanders for almost as long. We don't always agree, rarely agree, I might say, but he stays open-minded and he always has my back. After hearing maybe too many renditions of how they met, I would love to share my favorite part of how they met. So after that fateful pie party where they first connected, they learned that they lived on the same block. They're not just neighbors, they lived on the same block in a city of 8 million people. They started to hang out all the time, and they quickly became each other's default dinner plans. I wasn't surprised when Krista turned to me one day and said, "I think I'd really regret it if I don't go after Bogdan." I wasn't surprised. I was nervous that their extreme stubbornness would cause an explosive rift in my friend group, but I was not surprised. Despite my initial nervousness, I really admire the relationship that they've so carefully built. They're just as supportive, funny, brilliant together as they are individually, and they stubbornly choose each other and their relationship through every challenge. So please, on my behalf, raise your glasses for my favorite couple. May your next chapter be even more full of love, adventure, pie, and fate than the path that brought you here.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this fabulous wedding in this gorgeous castle in Ireland. I'm Tasha, Krista's sister and maid of honor. Doing this celebration in Ireland is especially meaningful as Krista and I are 7.2% Irish, according to 23andMe. Yeah. Krista has been a constant presence in my life. Early on, I wasn't so thrilled about this, and neither was she. We fought constantly as kids. As the older sibling, I'm supposed to be the responsible, level-headed one, but Krista had a unique talent for making me fly off the handle, and oh, how she loved to make me mad. We weren't so fun to be around, but all that had to change when we both started working at a horse barn. You can't fly off the handle around such large, sensitive creatures, so we learned to play nice. Eventually, we even started to like each other and ended up becoming very close, along with our fellow bridesmaids and barn girls, Kate and Talina. After a long day of cleaning the stalls, feeding the horses, and teaching lessons, we'd all often head over to Tal's house and paint our nails and watch movies until we fell asleep, draped across couches. My junior year of college, I studied abroad in Paris. At the same time, Krista was spending her freshman year in London. I took the Eurostar to London and spent several days wandering through the British Museum, watching Krista learn to fence, and hanging out in pubs. Krista then came back to Paris with me so we could eat fondue and climb the stairs to the top of the Eiffel Tower. I loved sharing these travels with her because it was a way to stay connected through shared experience as we changed and grew into adults. We remained close despite the distance. So close, in fact, that after I graduated college and moved to New York City for my first job, we lived together, along with our friend Shayna, for a few years. And that is where we met Bogdan. In a city of 8 million people, by some miracle, our apartment was a 2-minute walk away from Bogdan's, where he lived with Josh. When I learned that Bogdan had a manual car, I convinced him to teach me to drive it. He was a good teacher, patient, which is very important when you're learning how to drive in New York City. And we talked about our mutual love of cocktails and travel. When I was studying abroad, I befriended an Australian woman named Cece and decided to plan a trip to visit her. Bogdan also wanted to visit Australia, so we too got to grow our friendship through the shared experiences of climbing the Sydney Harbor Bridge, snorkeling the Great Barrier Reef, and learning how to drive on the other side of the road. Being friends with Bogdan brought another wonderful person into my life, his sister and fellow bridesmaid, Caroline. She and I also live together, again with Shayna, in a lovely East Village apartment that Caroline decorated perfectly with her incredible eye for design. As much fun as running around New York City is, sometimes it's great to get away. I have such fond memories of weekends upstate in the Hunter cabin with Krista and Bogdan, Caroline, Dove, Yev, Nick, and Josh. Those weekends were the perfect combination of activity, hiking, wine tasting, snow tubing, and relaxation, sitting in the hot tub, cooking meals together, and, of course, playing many board games. Life in New York was good. Then, Krista decided to make a career pivot that took her to Seattle. Learning that Krista and Bogdan would move to Seattle together was my first major indication that this relationship was a big deal. Then came the winters abroad. For those that don't know, Krista and Bogdan will take advantage of their remote jobs and spend winter in South America for 2 to 3 months, working and traveling. I've been lucky enough to join them for 1 to 2 week stints on a couple of occasions, and seeing them find a way to creatively build and share the life they both want is impressive and precious, and makes me believe they are right for each other. Krista, you are so kind, and you have the biggest heart. You're adorably quirky, ever-inclusive, loyal, hardworking, bold, and you have a smile that lights up the room. Or in today's case, the castle. You are my co-conspirator, my partner in crime. You know, like that time we snuck a pool table in the basement for Mom's birthday. I am so lucky to have you as my sister. Bogdan, you are worldly, brilliant, funny, generous, and spontaneous. The perfect complement to my sister. I love her more than I can say. And I imagine being up here, threatening her new husband that if he ever hurt her, I'm coming for him. But I learned to love you as a friend first, and now I'm so glad to welcome you into my family and call you my brother. I love you individually, and I love you together. I wish you every happiness, and I can't wait to crash more trips. Please, will you all raise a glass to Krista and Bogdan? Kurka!